The trailer for the next full set that's coming in Pokemon Pocket just dropped, and we're going to be taking a look at it and covering all of the new cards that just got dropped in it. These packs are going to be featuring the Generation 7 cards, aka Alola, and there's going to be a lot of exciting cards to take a look at here. Before we hop into that, if y'all are new here, make sure y'all are subscribed if you want to see more Pokemon Pocket content. As more of these cards leak, we'll be taking a look at them, and also, of course, when the packs drop, we'll be opening a bunch of packs, so make sure y'all are subbed if you want to see all that content. With that out of the way, let's hop right into these new cards. Right off the bat, we can see our starter cards. We have Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio. They are going to evolve into Decidueye, Incineroar, and Primarina in that order from left to right for their final stage evolutions. Not sure if they'll be EX cards or not. With A2, they only gave an EX to Infernape and not to Empoleon and Torterra, but who knows, they might change that this time and give more than one of them an EX. It would be nice to have an EX for all of them, but again, we'll have to find out as the packs actually release. These cards are going to have two different variations, so the one you're seeing here, it's going to give Rowlet and Popplio just a basic 20 damage, 60 HP card. Litten's is going to be a little bit different though. It's going to be 30 damage, but also do 10 damage to itself for 1 energy. For the other variation of the cards, Litten is just going to have that basic card, but then Rowlet is instead going to have Skill Dive, which is going to do 10 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, and Popplio is going to have the move Sing, which is going to put your opponent's active Pokemon to sleep. And again, that thing is going to be colorless energy, so Popplio is going to be quite nice as a starter card if you're just trying to stall out and put your opponent to sleep, so potentially some good use with that. I'm curious to see how it's going to work out, but either way, already getting two different variations for the starter cards is nice off rip. We're already jumping straight into the big leagues here. We can see the next card is going to be Solgaleo EX, which is going to be a 180 HP Steel type card. Its ability is going to be Rising Road, which means once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch it with your active Pokemon. So basically, you kind of get a free retreat at all times if this guy's on the field and you want to bring him out. And again, his attack is only 2 energy, 120 damage, but it's also going to do 10 damage to itself. So in my opinion, quite goated for an EX card. Like, that's going to be pretty strong, especially since you don't need to have it out on the field at all, and you can basically get a free retreat without spending any energy if you want to switch into it. So that's kind of goated, I'm not gonna lie. Up next, we have two more cards, Oricorio and Alolan Meowth. Oricorio is going to be a basic card, 70 HP, with a 2 energy psychic attack called Dazzle Dance that does 40 damage, and it's going to leave your opponent's Pokemon confused. So that's quite interesting. We haven't really gotten a lot of confusion Pokemon, so Oricorio is basically going to be a weaker version of Miss Magius, and I'm here for it. We also have Alolan Meowth, which is going to be a basic 60 HP, 1 energy attack that does 20 damage. However, this is probably going to evolve into Alolan Persian later on down the line. I'm curious to see what that card will be when it eventually drops. Alolan Raichu EX is going to be up next. It's 140 HP, and its attack is quite interesting. It's going to do Psychic, which does 60 damage plus 30 for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, but the real kick is that Alolan Raichu EX is going to be taking any type of energy, so this is going to be kind of like Yanmega EX from before, which means Alolan Raichu is going to be quite nice because you can use it with basically any type of energy you want. So I'm really curious to see what kind of decks are going to drop with Alolan Raichu EX whenever the time comes. The next card is Lunala EX, and I'll be honest with you, just reading this, it's already going to be a problem. It's going to have 180 HP, it's going to be a Psychic type card, but its ability is the kicker. Once during your turn, you may move all Psychic energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. I'm telling you right now, I want you to think about how goated that's going to be with Giratina, who was already terrorizing the meta before. Imagine building up like 3 Psychic energy under Giratina, and then you just pop this ability and move it all to like your Mewtwo or something in the active spot. It's just GG, you automatically lose. So this is really going to be a super goated card and a really nice support Psychic card. And then it also gets the attack Lunar Blast, which is going to be 3 energy, 100 damage, only needs 1 Psychic energy, so you don't really have to run Psychic energy with this, but you could definitely still make it work. The next two cards, we're going to have Alolan Vulpix, which is going to be 60 HP, and it's going to have a 1 energy attack called Call Forth Cold, which is going to take a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. So basically just a setup card. And then we have the Ghost type Oricorio, which is going to be 70 HP, still a Psychic type energy because Ghost types are identified as Psychic in this game. And it's going to have a 1 energy attack called Spiteful Dance, which is 20 damage. But if any of your Pokemon were knocked out from an attack during their last turn, it's going to do 60 more damage. So basically this is kind of like a slightly weaker version of Revenge from Marshadow, except it's only going to be 1 energy, which is kind of nice. Our next card is going to be Alolan Marowak. It's going to be 110 HP and a fire type, and it's going to have a 3 energy attack called Burning Boomerang that's going to do 70 damage for each heads when you flip 2 coins, and if at least one of the cards is heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. So I'll be completely honest with you, this is already goated. This is literally Marowak EX all over again. It's not even an EX card, and it's arguably stronger because it might not do 80 damage for each hit, but getting the burn for free if you hit them is way too powerful, and it's only one more energy. So Alolan Marowak is definitely going to be a very strong card. I'm looking forward to using this one. Up next, we're hopping into some new item cards. First off, on the left here, we have Rotom decks, which you look at the top card of your deck, and then you may shuffle your deck. I'll be honest with you, not a fan of that. I don't really see how that's going to have much usage. Maybe I'm not understanding it properly, but it sounds like you look at the top card of your deck and you don't get to draw it, but you, I guess, get the option to shuffle your deck. Again, not really sure whether or not I'm a fan of that, so I probably won't be using that too often, but we'll have to see when it comes out and I actually get to use the card. Up next is something arguably goated. We have the rare candy. Now this is going to say choose one of your basic Pokemon and play. If you have a stage 2 card in your hand that evolves from that Pokemon, put that card onto the basic Pokemon to evolve it, skipping the stage 1. You can't use this card during your first turn or on a basic Pokemon that was put into play this turn. So basically what they're saying is, if you draw, for example, a Squirtle and you play it, on the next turn, if you have Blastoise, you can just go from Squirtle straight to Blastoise. This is going to be super goated for those EX cards that are really fast to set up. Off rip, the first thing I'm thinking of is Infernape EX. Like, if you start turn 1 with a Chimchar, you could just be coming into a 140 damage turn 2 Flare Blitz. So, I don't know, this rare candy, this is elite item, like elite item for any stage 2 deck. All stage 2 decks just got a big buff from this. I cannot believe this is an actual card. This is going to change the way the game is played forever now. The next card is going to be quite interesting. We're hopping into the supporter cards here now, and we have Ilima. It's going to put one of your colorless type Pokemon that has damage on it into your hand. Now this is quite interesting because this is basically kind of like Budding Expeditioner with Mew, where you can take Mew and put it back in your hand and subtract all the damage if you want to. And this is quite nice because you can do this with any normal type card. So this is quite nice of a buff for normal types. And then we also have Lana, who's going to be a supporter card for Araquanid. Now it says you can use this card only if you have Araquanid in play, but you can switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. So it sounds like this is going to be kind of like Cyrus, where you can pick the Pokemon. It's not saying your opponent gets to pick, it's saying you get to pick. So that's going to be quite goated. Again, I'm not sure how good Araquanid is because we did not get to see the card, but if it is even half decent, this is going to be a really powerful combo. The next card is Kiawe. You get to choose between your Alolan Marowak or your Turtonator, take 2 fire energy from your energy zone and attach it to that Pokemon, but then your turn ends. So all I'm hearing is that Alolan Marowak is going to be extremely goated because not only do you get that super powerful attack, but there's a supporter card that takes 2 energy and just ramps it up even faster. So you could be attacking like almost immediately with that card. That's just so crazy that this is an actual thing. Up next, we have 3 more supporter cards. On the left, we have Acerola. You get to choose your Pasoland or Mimikyu that has damage on it, and you can move 40 of its damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. That sounds really interesting. You basically get to subtract damage from your Pokemon and move it to your opponent's active Pokemon, so they're already weaker. That's kind of a goated supporter card, and I'm curious to see now how that's going to work out with those cards when we get more details on them. We also have Mallow, which is going to heal all damage from one of your Shiinotic or Tsareena, but if you do, then you discard all the energy from that Pokemon. So, I mean, that sounds like it's good and bad. Like, fingers crossed that those cards don't have a lot of energy to set up, but still, being able to heal all the way back up to full is a really powerful supporter card. That's quite interesting. The next supporter card is going to be Sophocles. We can't see the full text, but it looks like it's going to be saying once during this turn, attacks used by your Alolan, I'm assuming Raichu, Vikavolt, or Togedemaru do plus 30 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Again, can't really see what that card is, but considering these are all electric type cards, I'm going to assume that it's Alolan Raichu EX. I might be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that's what it's going to be. We also have a new supporter card. It looks like this is going to be the immersive one as well, and it's going to be for Lillie, and you're going to heal 60 damage from one of your stage 2 Pokemon. So stage 2 Pokemon are getting way too much love here. I'm not too surprised though, because you guys have already seen how dominant cards like Giratina, Mewtwo, Darkrai have been in the previous updates. People have been abusing those cards way too much, and so getting all this new support for stage 2 cards is probably going to make them a lot more viable here. So I'm excited to play this update, especially when all these cards drop. I really want to make a lot more stage 2 decks because I think they'll actually be valued and ranked. That's going to be all of the cards that were leaked in the trailer here. Now, this set is dropping on April 30th, which is just in a week away from when I'm making this video. So make sure y'all are subscribed if you want to see more content about these new packs. I'm going to be opening a bunch of the packs. If any more leaks come out, I'll be dropping more videos on them. So make sure y'all are subbed if you want to see all the newest content on that. With all that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.